last we shall have revenge.
Certainly.
I'll have it up in no time.
Greetings, my
The
lord.
light is my strength. Justice shall be done. I'm here to help. The light is my strength. Justice shall be done. It isn't easy being the prince. I will bring honor to my father and my kingdom. Light, guide my path. Light, give me strength. I should be in command. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. Of course. For honor. Certainly. Of course. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. Certainly. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. I'm here to help. Certainly. Is there danger? For honor. A sound plan. I stand for the light. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. For honor. Of course. For honor. Of course. Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. A sound plan. For honor. I'm here to help. Certainly. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. Certainly. Justice shall be done. I stand for the light. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. A sound plan.
Our forces are under attack.
Certainly. A sound plan. For honor. Of course. For honor.
Betrayal of the light.
Of course. A sound plan. For honor. For Lord Orion. Certainly. Of course. Certainly. A sound plan. For honor. Certainly. Of course. For honor. Certainly.
Our brethren's town is under attack.
For honor. Certainly. For honor. Of course. For honor. Certainly. For honor. Sound plan. For honor. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. A sound plan. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course.
Justice.
Found made. For honor. I'm here to help. Certainly. Justice shall be done. For honor. A sound plan. I stand for the light. Of course. Certainly. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. For honor. Of course.
You are past me. Feel my wrath.
Certainly. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. For honor.
Justice has come.
A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan.
Our brethren's town
course.
is under attack.
Certainly. Of course. Justice. A sound plan. For honor. Of course. For my father. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. Of course. For honor. Of course. I'm here to help. The light.
Our
Certainly.
brethren's town is under attack.
Of course. A sound plan.
First blood.
Of course. Certainly. Is there danger? A sound plan. For honor. I'm here to help. A sound plan. I stand for the light. Is there danger? Certainly. I'm here to help. For honor. A sound plan.
Our brethren's town is under attack. Justice has come.
Of course. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. A sound plan. For honor. Of course. A sound plan.
Betrayer of the light.
Of course. Certainly. Justice shall be done. I'm here to help. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. Of course. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. Of course. I stand for the light. A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. For Lord. Certainly. I'm here to help. Found me. A sound plan.
Our brethren's
For
town
my
is under
father's
attack.
king. Justice shall be done. Certainly. A sound
Our forces are under attack. You are past
for honor.
Our brethren's town is under attack.
Of course. Certainly. A sound for honor. Of course. For honor.
Betrayer of the light.
A
Our
sound
brethren's town is under attack.
for honor. Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. Is there danger? Of course. Certainly. Justice shall be done. The light is my strength. Of course. Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. Certainly. For Lord. Of course. A sound plan. Justice shall be done. For honor. Certainly. For honor. Certainly. For honor. Certainly. I'm here to help. for honor. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. For honor. Of course. For honor. Of course. For honor. Light is my strength. Of course. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. For honor. Certainly.
You are passing them.
A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan.
Our brethren's town is under attack.
Certainly. A sound plan. Is there danger? Certainly. For honor. Of course. For honor. Of course.
Our brethren's town is under attack.
Of course. A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. The light is my strength.
More work?
Are you threatening me?
Justice shall be done. For honor. Of course. Stand for the light. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. For honor. Of course. Justice shall be done. Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. The light is my strength. I'm here to help. The light is my strength.
Welcome to our village.
Stand for the light. I'm here to help. The light is my strength. I'm here to help. I stand for the light. I'm here to help. For honor. Of course.
Are you threatening me?
Justice shall be done. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. Certainly.
Hello.
More gold
Stand
is
for the
required.
light. For honor. Here to help. A sound plan. Justice shall be done.
What?
Greetings,
Here to help.
Our forces are under attack.
Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. I stand for the light. Is there danger? A sound plan. Of course. Justice shall be done. Is there danger? A sound plan.
Our brethren's town is under attack. Betrayer of the light.
For honor. A sound plan. For honor. Of course. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. Of course. Certainly. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. For Lord Oran. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. Of course. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. Certainly. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. Certainly. Of course. For honor. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. Justice shall be done. Certainly. For honor. Certainly. For honor. Foul name. Certainly. For honor. Of course. A sound plan.
threatening me?
Justice shall be done. I stand for the Justice shall be done. I stand for the light. Of course. A sound plan. Of course. A sound plan. Of course. Is there danger? A sound plan. Of course. For Lord Aron.
Justice is come.
For honor. Of course. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan.
Triple kill! Unstoppable kill!
Light is my strength. I'm here to help. Certainly. For honor. Certainly. Justice is come. A sound plan. The light is my strength. Of course.
You are past redemption.
A sound plan. Of course.
Justice is come.
A sound plan.
Betrayer of the light.
For honor.
For my father, the king. Justice is come.
I'm here to help. The light is my strength. I stand for the light. I'm here to help. Is there danger? Certainly. Justice shall be done. A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. Of course. A sound plan. Of course. For honor. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. A sound
Killing spree!
Of course. For honor. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. A sound plan. Of course.
Our resident town is under attack.
For honor. Of course. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. Of course.
Wicked sick!
Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. For honor. Certainly. Of course. Is there danger? Certainly. Of course. A sound
Monster kill!
A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. Of course.
Godlike omen!
Betrayer of the light.
A sound plan. I'm here to help. I stand for the light. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly.
Feel my wrath.
A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. A sound plan. Certainly.
What?
Height is my strength. A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. For honor. Certainly. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. Certainly. For honor. Certainly.
Our forces are under
Of
attack.
course. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. Justice shall be done. A sound plan. For honor. Certainly. For honor.
You are passive.
For honor. What? Is there danger?
Are you threatening me? Full speed ahead!
The light is my strength. Of course. A sound plan. For honor. Certainly. For my father. For honor. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. Of course. For honor. Of course. For honor. Of course. A sound plan. Certainly. A sound plan. For honor. A sound plan. Certainly. Of course. A sound plan. Of course. Certainly. Of course.